left my baby with you, so what are you doing here? On a hot summer day. I was shopping at the mall when suddenly my sister-in-law started yelling at me. I left a voicemail saying that my child is in my car, so you have to babysit. It turned out my sister-in-law had left the baby in the car under the scorching sun. I thought, this is going to be serious. We rushed to the parking lot with a sense of urgency. Please stay with us until the end to see the dramatic developments that will unfold. My name is Erin Johnson. I am a 29-year-old working mother on parental leave. I met my husband, Nathan, through a friend's introduction. And after 2 years of dating, we got married the year before last. We had our daughter, Courtney, about 6 months ago. I would like to say we are filled with happiness, but I have had my worries. Those worries were about my husband, Nathan, who was a father of Courtney, and his pampered younger sister, Mandy. Before our child was born, my husband and I talked about working together on parenting. But once our child arrived, he didn't help at all. He took a year of parental leave as recommended by his company's boss. Yet he spent all day at home just loafing around. Nathan acted like childcare had nothing to do with him, even though we lived together. For example, I asked him to watch Courtney while I showered, but he just ignored her cries. He never really tried to learn how to prepare milk or change diapers. No matter how many times I tried to teach him. Just learn to take care of the baby already. I've tried teaching you so many times. When I said this, visibly frustrated, Nathan just looked indifferent and unapologetic. Kids just prefer their mom, so they're happier when you take care of them, right? That's not true. Courtney is our child, isn't she? You're noisy. Anyway, taking care of a baby is a mother's job, that's been decided long ago. If you think the child is cute, don't try to make me do it, just handle it yourself. When I was speechless with amazement, he went back to playing games on his smartphone. To top it all off, when Courtney cried at night, he started shouting. Shut her up quickly. She's noisy. Recently, men who actively engage in childcare are called hands-on dad. But my husband didn't have a hint of that. I just wished he would at least help with the household chores. But he pushed everything onto me, saying that housework was a wife's duty. Moreover, Courtney was a child who cried a lot. I couldn't leave her alone, and I couldn't get enough sleep, just getting more exhausted day by day. Adding to my exhaustion was the presence of my younger sister-in-law, Mandy, 3 years younger than my husband. She was a stay-at-home mom living nearby, and she took care of my niece, Katie, who was born 3 months after Courtney. Her husband, Brian, worked for a major trading company and was often away from home due to his demanding job. Perhaps because of this, she often visited our house. The first time she came to our house was when Katie was less than a month old. Staying at home alone is suffocating. So I came here. My husband was happy to welcome her, and at first, I responded kindly, thinking that lonely parenting must be hard. However, encouraged by this, her behavior escalated. One day, the intercom rang early in the morning, and when I opened the door, there was my sister-in-law holding Katie. I have some errands today, so Erin, you'll take care of her for a day. What? That's so sudden, I can't do it. Family is supposed to help each other, right? Come on, take her. Saying this, she handed me my niece without allowing any refusal, and quickly left. I tried to stop her, but Katie started crying in my arms, and that woke Courtney, who also began to cry loudly. Of course, my husband didn't help at all, so that day I took care of 2 infants by myself. Just when Courtney cried wanting milk, then Katie cried because of her diaper. It was a hectic day. Eventually, my sister-in-law came to pick up Katie in the evening, after it got dark. At that time, I noticed that her hair was neater than when she had left. Did you go to the hair salon?
Yeah.
Is there a problem? She casually answered with a satisfied smile. I thought, it's been half a year since Courtney was born. And I haven't been able to go to the hair salon. While I remained silent, as if sensing my thoughts, she smirked. Aaron, you better keep yourself pretty or Nathan might leave you. Be careful. After finishing her statement, she laughed out loud, picked up Katie, and left without saying thank you. All I could do was watch her leave with my hair all disheveled. Since then, my sister-in-law started using our home as a substitute daycare often. Each time, I refused saying, it's troubling, but she would force my niece on me and leave, saying, we're family. Don't be so formal. I couldn't stand it anymore, and I even tried talking to my husband about it. It's troublesome when Mandy leaves Katie with us. I have Courtney to take care of. Without apologizing for my worn-out state, and without taking his eyes off his phone, my husband spoke. It doesn't matter, does it? Taking care of a baby isn't much different whether it's one or two. Just take care of them while you're at it. But Mandy. She seems to be going to the spa or gym. Not just the hospital or anything. She needs a break too. Just take care of her without complaining. He said this only to his sister, not giving me any break. Many times, the thought of divorce crossed my mind, but I managed to hold back. Thinking it wasn't right to deprive Courtney of her father just because of my emotions. Then, it was another hot summer day sometime later. That day too, I received a message from my sister-in-law in the morning saying, I have errands today, so take care of Katie. I replied without showing my irritation. I'm going to the shopping mall today, so I can't. After sending the email, I went shopping for Courtney's autumn clothes. My husband had gone out somewhere in the morning. So I took Courtney and drove to the shopping mall. While shopping at the mall, my sister-in-law called, but Courtney was crying. So I couldn't answer the phone. Since there was no further call from her, I left it at that, and about an hour and a half later, while I was at the baby clothing section of the mall, I was approached from behind. Hey, Aaron. When I turned around, there stood my sister-in-law with loads of shopping bags and, strangely enough, my husband was there too. Why are you and Mandy here? She wanted to come to the mall, so I came with her. While having that conversation with my husband, my sister-in-law suddenly looked panicked. More importantly, I left my baby with you, so what are you doing here? Where's Katie? Huh? I don't know. Confused, I responded, and she looked terribly shocked. You didn't leave her in the car, did you? Huh? What do you mean? Didn't you listen to the voicemail? I left a message saying I'd leave Katie in my car for you to take care of. As my sister-in-law grew increasingly pale, I checked my phone only to find that it had run out of battery at some point. Thus, I hadn't been able to check her voicemail. Realizing this, my husband's face also turned pale with panic. So, Katie is still in the car. This is serious. We need to go right now. We rushed to the parking lot. The hot sun was beating down, and the outdoor temperature had exceeded 85 degrees. When we reached the parking lot under the blazing sun, there was a crowd around her car. As we hurried closer, we saw that Katie had just been rescued by some passers-by and the mall staff. Katie. My niece was limp and wasn't even crying. My sister-in-law had left the car unlocked to leave the niece for me to pick up. From a distance, we could hear the sound of emergency vehicles. As the crowd murmured, my sister-in-law, looking defeated, turned to me crying. Hey. This is your fault, so you better sort this out. Shocked by her words, I looked at my husband, who furiously agreed with her. She's right. You fix this. Hearing these words flung at me, I felt something snap inside. I thought, what do they think they're doing with a child's life? And they say it's my fault. I won't forgive this. By that time, an ambulance and a police car had arrived at the scene. When the police started looking for the car's owner, I pointed at my sister-in-law and shouted loudly, "The mother of the child is right here." The eyes of everyone there immediately turned towards my sister-in-law, causing a great stir. "What? What are you talking about?" She scrambled to make excuses, but I quickly explained the situation to the approaching police. The police's expression turned stern. The onlookers whispered to each other while looking at my sister-in-law. The police wanted her to explain the situation and took her away in the patrol car, while Katie was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. After the crowd dispersed, my husband gripped my shoulder tightly and glared at me. "It's your fault Mandy was taken by the police. What are you doing? Shut up. You're practically complicit." "What?" My husband yelled at me. However, he seemed shocked that I, who usually complied with everything, was talking back. Leaving him behind, I went home for a while. The next day, while Courtney was napping, Mandy and her husband Brian, along with my in-laws, came to our house. It's her fault Katie almost died. I even got scolded by the police. Say something. Hearing her blustering words, my father-in-law angrily asked, "Didn't you agree to take her, Aaron? What's going on?" My mother-in-law also turned her critical gaze on me. "Mother-in-law, it's good that it ended with just a hospital visit. But what if it had been the worst-case scenario?" "Mandy, what exactly did you tell these people?" "Just that. That you left Katie in the car." "That's right. How irresponsible can you be, you wicked wife?" My husband joined my sister-in-law in hurling terrible words at me. Realizing that arguing was futile, I sighed and played the voicemail on my phone in front of everyone. I ended up coming to the mall too. "I'm leaving Katie in the car, so you take care of her like always, okay?
Bye.
Mandy and I are going to have lunch, so hurry up." As the voices of Mandy and Nathan filled the room, the atmosphere in the room froze in an instant. My phone had run out of battery, so I couldn't listen to this voicemail right away. "Do you still think I am to blame?" Then, upon hearing the voicemail, my in-laws, who had been assertive until now, started panicking, saying that it was different from what they had heard. Brian, Mandy's husband, approached me calmly to confirm the situation. And I showed him the screen of past message exchanges while explaining everything as it was. "Mandy, you said that Aaron had taken her temporarily but then left her in the car, didn't you? What's this about?" Mandy, questioned by Brian, started sweating and turned pale. "Moreover, I saw the past messages. And it seems you were leaving Katie with Aaron and going out to have fun, right?" Mandy, lost for words, stammered, "That's," as Brian glared at her and said, "I understand now. I can't leave Katie with you anymore. We're getting a divorce. I'll take Katie." "What? Divorce? Are you serious?" "I don't want that."
No.
"Please, I won't do it again, just let this one slide. Please." Mandy started wailing, but Brian shook his head firmly from side to side, his expression stern. My in-laws, knowing the truth, could only fret and offer no support. Then, I sighed and slowly began to speak. "Since everyone is here, I have something to announce. I will also be divorcing Nathan." "What? What are you saying?" My husband's eyes widened, and I raised my voice. "I don't need a husband who never helps with childcare and supports such a hopeless sister. I'll help from now on. So don't talk about divorce. I can't trust you, who takes parental leave yet does nothing all day but lays around. I will have custody. And you better prepare to pay child support properly." Hearing this definitive statement, my husband had nothing to rebut and his shoulders slumped. Later, as Mandy was crying and being dragged away by Brian, I watched my husband write the divorce papers. Then, I turned to my in-laws. I'm returning this husband to you. Please take responsibility and take him back. Following this, my in-laws repeatedly apologized to me and left, leading my dazed husband away. After that, my divorce was finalized. I received all the shared savings. And it was agreed that Nathan would pay $700 a month in child support. Kicked out of the house, he now lives alone in a shabby apartment, scraping by to pay child support. The divorce also went through for Mandy and Brian, and fortunately, Katie, who had been discharged from the hospital without any lasting effects, was taken in by Brian. Mandy, who had even lied to the police, got a criminal record due to the evidence I provided. And Brian got custody. Now, Mandy has returned to her parents' home and become a recluse, rumored among the neighbors as that mother who caused the scandal. I have no sympathy for her or her brother. I just hope that Katie grows up healthy under Brian's care. As for me, I have returned to my parents' home, resumed work, and am raising Courtney with the help of my family. Loved by my parents too, Courtney is growing up healthy and well. Looking forward to her growth, I am determined to work hard at my job and in raising my daughter.